Let's keep things moving and get to our main focus point today, which is about our neighbors to the north and south and the potential effect of the 25% tariffs that President Trump says will be put in place February 1st. Now, this announcement, made during an Oval Office signing ceremony, is sending shockwaves through industries that rely on trade with America's two largest partners. What's the biggest concern? Well, the biggest concern is rising prices for consumers who are already hurting from a prolonged inflationary period. The reality is, Mexico and Canada account for 30% of all goods imported into the US. And so because of this, tariffs could hit Americans hardest on those goods, the essential goods, cars, gasoline, food. A lot of refineries in the US, specifically the West, are used to and are retrofit for refining Canadian oil. The auto industry imports billions in vehicles and parts from Mexico and Canada each year. And so this 25% tariff could erase cost savings from lower wage labor, which forces manufacturers to raise prices on cars, and therefore consumers paying more for those cars. As I mentioned, gas prices could take it. Canada is the top supplier of oil in the US. And tariffs could push gas prices up by 25 to 75 cents per gallon, affecting drivers across the Midwest and the West Coast the most. And at the grocery store, Americans could see price hikes on avocados, on beer, fresh produce. Mexico supplied $46 billion in agricultural products to the US last year, including $3 billion in avocados and nearly $6 billion in beer and spirits. And as we know, we just looked at TSCO, and I mentioned how for a retailer, that's pretty good profit margins. Well, profit margins are pretty slim for grocers. Farmers and grocers are unlikely to be able to absorb those costs. And so who pays those costs? Well, consumers pay those costs. Now, while the president insists that tariffs will make foreign companies pay, the reality is that US households will bear the burden. And so as the February 1st deadline approaches, the market is going to digest whether this is just a threat, whether it is a ploy for negotiation, or if after a prolonged period of rising costs, American consumers and markets and companies can expect costs to rise yet again.